My puppy didn't eat you? Very strange, said tiny alien girl. While the beast only bared its teeth, the human child woke up to a world that seemed both beautiful and frightening. Bright green leaves shimmered in the sunlight, and flowers of colors the child had never seen swayed gently in the soft wind. Birds, or creatures that looked like birds, chirped in high-pitched songs, each note strange but somehow comforting. The child tried to remember how they had come here, but the memory was fuzzy. A sudden bright flash, a loud noise, and then darkness. Now they were alone, lying on soft moss, their small backpack torn and scattered nearby. A low growl made the child freeze. Turning slowly, they saw a massive shape moving through the trees. It was the size of a small car, with thick fur that glistened like black silk and sharp teeth that glinted even in the shade. Its yellow eyes locked onto the child, and it bared its teeth, a sound that made the air vibrate. The child felt their stomach tighten in fear, but then something unexpected happened. From behind a bush no taller than a knee, a tiny figure appeared. It was a little alien girl, no bigger than the child's waist. Her skin was pale blue, and her large, round eyes sparkled with curiosity. Two small antennas waved slightly as she studied the human, and her small hands rested on her hips confidently. My puppy didn't eat you. Very strange, she said, tilting her head as if puzzled by the sight before her. The child blinked. Puppy? They asked, their voice trembling. Yes, the tiny girl said, nodding toward the massive beast. That one, my puppy. The human's eyes widened. That is your puppy? They could hardly believe it. How could something so enormous, so terrifying, be called a puppy? The alien girl stepped forward cautiously, but the giant beast remained still, only growling softly and sniffing the air. It didn't attack. The child noticed that its movements were deliberate and careful, almost as if it was curious rather than hostile. I didn't mean to, the child started, backing away slightly. The tiny alien girl shook her head. No, you are not food, you are strange. That is why my puppy is confused. She crouched down a little, reaching out her hand. Come closer, don't be afraid. The child hesitated. Something about the girl's eyes, so full of intelligence and calm, made the fear in their chest loosen a little. Slowly, they stepped forward, keeping their hands in view. The giant beast's growl lowered to a rumble, and it shifted slightly to the side, giving them space. My name is Lyra, the girl said. What is your name? I'm Sam, the child said, finally finding their voice. I came from far away. They didn't mention the spaceship, unsure if this tiny creature would understand. Lyra's eyes sparkled. Far away? Yes, you smell different. You smell like danger, but not like danger my puppy fears. Curious. She gestured toward the beast. That is Corv. He is very big. He protects. He is careful. Sam nodded slowly, still in awe of the massive creature. I think he's amazing. Of course he is, Lyra said proudly. He is my friend. He would not harm you unless you hurt me. As Sam and Lyra spoke, the forest seemed to shift around them. The sunlight flickered through the canopy, and distant noises of other creatures created a rhythm that felt alive. Sam realized that every movement, every sound, belonged to a complex ecosystem where humans were clearly not the top predator. But instead of fear, they felt a sense of wonder. Lyra led Sam deeper into the forest, with Corv lumbering behind. She pointed out small things along the way. A plant that glowed faintly in the shade, insects that carried tiny seeds across the moss, and a stream that sparkled like liquid crystal. Sam tried to take it all in, amazed by the alien beauty of the planet. Do you eat like this? Sam asked, pointing at the plants near the stream. No, Lyra said, shaking her head. These are for decoration. We eat from other places. She reached down and plucked a small, round fruit that seemed soft and fragrant. Try this. Sam hesitated, then took a small bite. The flavor was sweet and tangy, unlike anything they had tasted before. Their eyes widened. It's delicious, Lyra laughed. Humans are strange. You taste with your mouth. We taste with our fingers and antennas. You are clever in other ways, I think. The comment made Sam smile, feeling a little more at ease. They walked a bit more, and Lyra explained some of the rules of her world. The forest has many eyes. Some creatures are dangerous. My puppy can sense them. You confuse them. Confuse them? Sam asked. Yes, humans are strange. You think fast. You move differently. Many predators do not know what to do with you. Lyra's eyes twinkled. That is why you are alive now. Sam thought about the spaceship, the crash, and everything that had happened. Somehow their survival here had not been random. They had instincts, yes, but also a kind of luck that seemed tied to their humanity. As they walked, the giant corv occasionally sniffed Sam, nudging them with its massive head when they hesitated. Despite the initial fear, Sam began to trust it. They noticed its movements were careful, protective, almost like it was testing them, but in a friendly way. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes made both Sam and Lyra freeze. A smaller creature darted out, a predator unlike anything Sam had ever seen. It had 4 legs, scales that shimmered, and sharp claws. It paused, sniffing the air, and then lunged toward them. Corv roared. The ground shook as he charged, and the predator skidded to a halt, unsure what to do. Sam's heart raced, but Lyra remained calm. "Watch!" she shouted. She waved her hands in strange patterns, and Corv responded, blocking the predator with a careful, non-lethal swipe. The predator hissed and fled, leaving the trio shaken but unharmed. That was amazing," Sam exclaimed. "He didn't even hurt it." "No," Lyra said. "He protects. He does not kill unless it is necessary. Humans, you can learn this too. You are clever. You can think." That is strength. Sam realized she was right. The human mind had helped them survive many times, figuring out how to escape the crash, how to find food, how to stay calm when faced with danger. They had relied on intelligence rather than strength, and here on this strange planet, it was proving just as valuable. They continued their journey, discovering a small clearing where Lyra had built a tiny village. The houses were no taller than a chair, made from living plants and woven fibers, and glowing fungi provided light. Other tiny aliens peeked curiously at Sam, whispering to each other and pointing. Corv lay down in the center, still watchful. "Don't be afraid," Lyra said. "They are curious. They do not harm you." Sam looked around, amazed at the tiny civilization thriving in harmony with the forest. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, fragile yet resilient, small yet clever. They felt a connection, realizing that intelligence, care, and understanding could create strength even in beings so tiny. Lyra led Sam to a small platform made of smooth wood. "Sit," she said. "We will eat together. You must learn our ways." As they shared food, Sam asked questions about Lyra's people, their customs, and the planet itself. Lyra answered eagerly, happy to explain, sometimes using gestures and small drawings in the dirt. The giant corv watched over them, occasionally nudging Sam or Lyra when they laughed too loudly or got too close to the edge of the clearing. That night, as Sam lay on a bed of moss under a canopy of stars, they realized something important. They were alone in a strange world, yet not entirely alone. A tiny alien girl and her massive, gentle beast had accepted them. They had survived not through power, but through cleverness, empathy, and adaptability, qualities that made them human. Above, the stars twinkled unfamiliar constellations shining brightly. Somewhere far away, other humans might be wondering where they had gone. But for now, Sam felt safe. They had made a friend, found protection, and discovered that even on a strange planet, humanity had a way to survive, to thrive, and to inspire trust and respect in creatures that seemed far more powerful than themselves. And somewhere in the shadows of the forest, unseen eyes watched them. Not all were friendly, but that would come later. For now, the human child and the tiny alien girl, along with the giant corv, had begun a bond that could change their world, and perhaps show the universe that humans, though small and fragile in appearance, carried strength in their hearts and minds that no predator could. The next morning, sunlight spilled across the tiny village, painting everything in gold. Sam woke to the sound of birds, or creatures like birds, chirping above, and the gentle rustling of Corv's heavy breathing as he lay near the edge of the clearing. The giant beast stirred, stretching its massive limbs, and Sam realized that, despite its frightening size, Corv was calm and careful, always aware of their safety. Lyra appeared, holding a small bundle of bright fruits. "Eat," she said, offering some. "You need energy. Today I will show you more." Sam took a piece of the fruit, still marveling at its sweet, tangy taste. "You live here alone?" they asked, nibbling carefully. Lyra shook her head. "Not alone, many live here, but humans are strange. You are only one." "That is why we must be careful." Sam nodded, thinking of the crash and the strange new world they had entered. Every moment here felt like a discovery, and yet danger seemed never far away. They had learned that Corv protected them, but they also knew that not every creature would behave so predictably. After breakfast, Lyra led Sam through the forest, pointing out plants, streams, and insects, explaining their roles. She showed Sam how to gather food safely, how to avoid the hidden predators, and how to understand the signs of the forest. Sam listened intently, amazed at how clever the tiny aliens were, how they had learned to live in a world filled with creatures far larger and stronger than themselves. "You see," Lyra said, crouching beside a moss-covered rock, "humans think differently. You see solutions we do not. That is why you survived," Sam smiled. "I guess maybe, but I'm still scared sometimes." Lyra laughed softly. "Fear is good, fear keeps you alive, but do not let it stop you. You are clever, you can use your mind." As they walked, Sam noticed movement in the shadows. Tiny creatures, different from the aliens in the village, scuttled along the forest floor, their eyes glowing faintly. Lyra nodded at Sam's gaze. "Not all are friends," she said. "Some want to eat, some are curious. We watch, we wait, we choose." Sam realized that every step here required awareness, observation, and quick thinking. The forest itself was alive, constantly testing them. Humans, he thought, might not be the strongest physically, but the mind, the ability to plan, to improvise, gave them an edge. After a while, they reached a clearing near a shimmering lake. The water reflected the alien sky, pale green with streaks of purple clouds. Lyra gestured for Sam to sit. "We rest here," she said. "You must learn patience and watch, observe." Sam followed her instructions, watching the lake's edge. Tiny fish-like creatures swam, leaping above the surface. Birds with long, thin tails glided close, their wings catching the sunlight. Then, without warning, the water trembled, and a massive shadow rose from below. A predator, much larger than Sam had expected, broke the surface. Its skin shimmered like liquid metal, and its jaws opened wide. Sam froze, but Lyra remained calm. "Do not move," she whispered. "Watch, learn." Corv growled low in the distance, standing between them and the lake. The predator hissed, testing the water, and then lunged forward. Corv's massive body struck the predator with precision, not killing it but forcing it back. The creature retreated into the water with a splash, leaving ripples that stretched across the lake. Sam's heart raced. "That was incredible," they said, turning to Lyra. "Yes," Lyra said. "Corv protects, but you can help too. Humans think fast, you can plan, you can change outcomes." Sam realized she was right. While Corv was powerful, he could not predict everything. It was their mind, their ability to adapt, that made the real difference. Humans were small but clever. They could turn danger into safety. As they continued walking, Lyra explained more about her world. "Our planet is strange. It tests those who come here. Many die. Many never learn. But humans survive because they do not only react." "You think, you observe, you try?" Sam listened, feeling a mix of pride and wonder. They had always known that humans had a certain resilience, but seeing it acknowledged by an alien being made it feel real. They walked deeper into the forest, where the trees grew taller and closer together. Sunlight barely reached the ground, and shadows twisted into strange shapes. Lyra stopped suddenly, raising a finger. "Watch," she whispered. From between the trunks, a small group of alien creatures emerged. Unlike the tiny villagers, these were larger, covered in dark scales and moving in a coordinated way. Their eyes glowed faintly, and they emitted a low, humming sound. "They are hunters," Lyra explained. "Not friends, but not always enemies. They watch, they test." Sam's mind raced. These creatures could easily harm them if provoked, but instead of panicking, Sam observed carefully. The hunters moved with precision, clearly intelligent. The human mind worked quickly, noticing patterns in their movement, predicting where they might go. Lyra noticed Sam's focus. "You think differently," she said. "That is why we will survive this day." The hunters circled briefly, then turned and vanished into the shadows, leaving Sam and Lyra alone. Corv relaxed but remained alert, sniffing the air. "You see," Lyra said. "Observation, patience. Humans can do this. You learn fast, you plan." Sam felt a surge of confidence. It was one thing to survive by chance, but another to survive by understanding and planning. Here, on this strange planet, their mind was their greatest weapon. As they moved on, Lyra taught Sam how to signal to Corv using small gestures. By moving their hands in certain ways, they could direct the giant beast to block a path, distract a predator, or protect a certain area. Sam practiced carefully, and soon Corv responded smoothly, following the human's instructions with surprising intelligence. "You are clever," Lyra said proudly. "Many aliens cannot do this. Many humans might not. You are special." Sam smiled, feeling a growing bond not just with Lyra, but with Corv as well. The three of them moved as a team, a strange alliance between human, tiny alien, and giant beast. Together, they explored, learned, and survived. Later, they reached a cliff overlooking a valley filled with strange, glowing plants. Lyra pointed toward the valley. There is a place humans must see. Many do not. They do not survive. Maybe you will. Sam looked down, awestruck. The valley was alive with light, movement, and color. Creatures of all shapes roamed, some hunting, some gathering, some simply living. The forest and valley seemed like a single living organism, testing all who entered. We must be careful, Lyra warned. Not all eyes are friendly, but you may help. Your mind will guide us. Sam felt a mix of fear and excitement. They realized that every step in this world was a test, a challenge to survive not through strength alone, but through intelligence, observation, and courage. And for the first time, they felt truly alive, not just surviving, but participating in something larger than themselves. As night approached, they returned to the village. The tiny aliens had prepared a small meal, and Corv rested near the edge, keeping watch. Sam sat quietly, thinking about the day. They had faced danger, observed strange creatures, learned new skills, and discovered that humans had a unique strength, one that even the most alien beings respected. Lyra sat beside them, her eyes reflecting the glow of the village lights. Tomorrow, she said softly, we explore further. You will learn more. You will see challenges humans can solve and maybe even creatures that test us all. Sam nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and anticipation. They realized that survival here was not just about avoiding danger. It was about learning, adapting, and showing that humans, though small and fragile in appearance, carried a strength of mind and spirit that could face any challenge. As they drifted to sleep on the soft moss, with Corv's steady breathing nearby, Sam thought about the strange and beautiful world around them. They were alone, yet not alone. They had allies, friends, and a chance to prove something about humanity, something even the universe might recognize. And somewhere deep in the forest, unseen eyes watched, curious and cautious, as if testing this small human child who had survived when many others would not. Sam's journey was just beginning, but already, the mind, courage, and cleverness that defined humans had begun to shine in ways the alien world could not ignore. The morning sun filtered through the tall alien trees, casting long shadows across the village. Sam woke to the quiet rustle of leaves and the soft hum of the forest. Corv lay nearby, stretching his massive limbs as his deep, steady breathing filled the air. Lyra was already awake, hopping lightly from one small platform to another, checking on the village and making sure everything was in order. Today, Lyra said, her large eyes shining with excitement, we go further. You will see places no human has seen. You will see tests. You will see challenges. You must think, plan, act. Sam nodded, their stomach tightening with anticipation. The past days had been full of wonder, but now a sense of real purpose filled them. They realized that survival here was not only about avoiding danger. It was about understanding, learning, and proving that humans were clever enough to face challenges far beyond ordinary strength. They left the village, Corv moving silently behind them, his massive form a protective shadow. The forest seemed to grow denser as they walked, trees twisting toward the sky like giant green towers. Strange plants glowed faintly along the ground, and small insects crawled over moss and roots, leaving trails of light. Every step felt alive, as if the forest itself were watching, waiting for them to make a move. Lyra led Sam to a narrow path that wound down into a deep valley. The wind carried strange scents, some sweet, some bitter, and distant roars echoed faintly through the cliffs. The valley tests all who enter, Lyra said. Many never leave, they fail because they are careless. You are clever, but you must be careful. As they descended, Sam noticed movement in the shadows. Small creatures scuttled quickly across the rocks, watching them. Some were predators, some scavengers, and some seemed simply curious. Sam's mind worked quickly, observing patterns, noting how the creatures moved, learning which paths seemed safest. Corv growled low in warning, and Sam knew instinctively that not all eyes in the valley were friendly. The giant beast moved ahead slightly, sniffing the air, testing the ground, ensuring that nothing would ambush them. Sam felt a surge of confidence. They were small, but their mind, their ability to notice, think, and act, gave them an edge. Halfway down the path, they reached a clearing where the valley opened into a vast space filled with massive plants. Their leaves were broad, shimmering like mirrors, and their stems were thick and sturdy. Tiny alien birds darted between the branches, and in the distance, creatures with long legs and glowing eyes moved cautiously, watching from the shadows. "This is the first test," Lyra said. "You must cross, many fail. They do not see what is hidden, maybe you will." Sam looked carefully at the area. At first, it seemed like a simple path, but then they noticed subtle movements, the reflection of sunlight off insect wings, a slight rustle among the plants. Danger was everywhere, hidden, waiting. Corv moved in front, ready to block any threat, but Sam realized that brute strength alone would not be enough. They needed to use their mind. "Lyra," Sam whispered, pointing to one of the shimmering leaves. "Look, that leaf moves differently." "I think something is hiding underneath." Lyra's eyes widened. "Yes, you see what others miss. That is clever." Sam carefully led Corv and Lyra along a path that avoided the hidden predators. Using quick thinking and observation, they stepped lightly, testing the ground, noticing the faint vibrations beneath their feet. Slowly, they moved across the clearing, each step a small victory of intelligence over danger. When they reached the other side, Lyra clapped her tiny hands. "You are clever, human. Many aliens would have been caught. You think, you plan, you survive." Sam smiled, feeling pride and relief. Corv nudged them gently, as if approving, and Sam realized that their bond with the beast was growing stronger. The giant creature seemed to understand not only their presence but their mind, responding to subtle signals without words. Beyond the clearing, the valley narrowed again. Rocks and cliffs rose on either side, and a rushing river cut through the center. Strange creatures moved in and out of the water, their long bodies coiling through the current, eyes glowing faintly. "This river tests those who cross," Lyra said. "Many humans cannot think fast enough. Many aliens cannot either. You may find a way." Sam studied the river carefully. The current was strong, but there were rocks and fallen branches that could serve as stepping points. They noted the movement of the water and the patterns of the creatures in it. Slowly, they began to cross, testing each step before committing their weight. Corv followed, careful to avoid stepping on Sam or disturbing the rocks too heavily. Halfway across, a massive water creature surged from below, its jaws snapping shut with a loud splash. Sam froze, their heart pounding, but then quickly remembered something from their training on Earth: observe, predict, act. They noticed the creature hesitated when Corv's shadow fell across the water. Using a small stick, they created a ripple that distracted it just long enough to step forward. Corv roared, charging the edge of the river, and the creature retreated. Sam reached the other side first, gasping for breath but smiling. Lyra and Corv followed, and for a moment all three stood together, victorious. "You see," Lyra said, "your mind is your strength, not size, not claws, thought, planning, observation, that is human." Sam felt a warmth of pride. They had survived not because they were the strongest, but because they could think, plan, and adapt. Humanity's true strength, they realized, was in the mind and heart, qualities that could triumph even in worlds far stranger and more dangerous than Earth. As they continued deeper into the valley, they discovered an abandoned alien structure, partially hidden by vines and glowing plants. Its walls were smooth and metallic, and strange symbols were etched across the surface. Lyra examined it closely. "This place is old," she said. "Many come, many try to enter. Few succeed. The tests inside, they challenge your mind, your courage, your teamwork." Sam's curiosity surged. They could feel the weight of history here, the echoes of beings who had come before and failed. Yet they also felt hope. If humans were clever, if they could observe, learn, and adapt, maybe they could succeed where others could not. Inside, the structure was dimly lit by glowing panels embedded in the walls. The floor shifted subtly beneath their feet, and strange mechanisms clicked and whirred in the shadows. Sam's eyes scanned carefully, noticing patterns and faint cues. The tests began immediately. Floors that tilted if stepped on incorrectly, doors that opened only when a sequence of symbols was touched in the right order, and sensors that reacted to movement. Corv followed closely, ready to assist, but it was Sam's mind that guided them. They noticed that some symbols glowed faintly when touched in a certain pattern, that some panels made sounds that hinted at the correct path, and that some floors were unstable but could support careful steps. Lyra watched with amazement. "You think differently," she whispered. "No alien has passed this far without mistakes. Maybe you will succeed." Hours passed as they navigated the structure. Sam's mind worked steadily, observing, predicting, and testing. They made mistakes, but each error taught them more. Corv and Lyra responded quickly, helping when needed, and together the team moved forward, learning from each obstacle. Finally, they reached a large chamber glowing with soft light. In the center was a pedestal with a crystal that pulsed faintly. Lyra approached cautiously. "This is the reward," she said. "The crystal recognizes those who succeed. Many fail before this point, but you have shown cleverness, courage, and teamwork. That is why you are here." Sam stepped forward carefully. As they touched the crystal, it pulsed with warmth and a soft hum filled the chamber. The structure seemed to acknowledge their success, and a pathway opened that had been hidden before. Lyra's eyes widened with wonder. "You have passed," she said softly. "Humans, you are remarkable. Your mind, your heart, your courage. It is unlike anything we have seen." Sam smiled, feeling exhaustion mixed with exhilaration. They had faced tests that no alien could solve easily, survived challenges that would have destroyed others, and proven that humanity's greatest strength was not in brute force, but in intelligence, adaptability, and courage. Corv nudged them gently as if congratulating them, and Lyra took their hand. "We move on," she said. "Tomorrow brings more tests, more challenges, and perhaps greater dangers, but now you know you are capable, you are clever, you are human." As they left the structure, the sun was setting, casting long shadows across the valley. Sam looked at the horizon, feeling a sense of pride and purpose. They had learned something important. No matter the world, no matter the danger, humanity could survive, adapt, and triumph. And with allies like Lyra and Corv, they were ready for whatever came next. The night fell, and the valley glowed faintly with the light of strange plants and distant creatures. Sam lay on soft moss, Corv curled protectively nearby, and Lyra sat beside them. Together, they had faced the tests of the valley and proved that cleverness, courage, and heart could overcome even the most alien challenges. Somewhere beyond the trees, unseen eyes watched, measuring, testing. The forest had not revealed all its secrets. The next day would bring new challenges, but Sam felt ready. They were human, and that was enough. The night in the valley was quiet, yet the air felt alive. Strange sounds echoed through the trees, soft whistles and clicks from unseen creatures. Sam lay on the moss, Corv curled protectively nearby, and Lyra perched lightly on a small rock, her antennas twitching as she listened. The stars above were unfamiliar, pale green streaks against the deep blue sky. Sam thought about the day's challenges, the tests in the shimmering valley, the strange creatures, and the mysterious structure that had recognized their cleverness. "Tomorrow," Lyra said softly, "we go to a place where humans must think harder. Many aliens fear it. It tests courage, patience, and mind." Sam nodded, feeling a mix of anticipation and nervousness. The last tests had been difficult but manageable with observation and planning. This new challenge promised to be harder. Yet there was excitement in that, too, the chance to prove that human cleverness could succeed where others failed. The next morning, they left the village at first light. Corv led the way, moving silently but with authority, while Lyra darted ahead, pointing out the safest paths. Sam followed closely, their eyes scanning every shadow, listening to every sound, noticing even the faintest movement. The forest seemed alive, watching, testing their awareness. After hours of walking, they reached a ridge overlooking a vast canyon. The canyon walls were jagged, covered in vines and glowing moss. Strange creatures moved along the cliffs and in the depths below, some soaring, some crawling, some swimming through pools of liquid that reflected the pale light in eerie colors. "This is the Trial Canyon," Lyra said. "Few survive it, many fall or are lost. It is dangerous not because of strength, but because it tests your mind. You must see what others miss. You must think ahead." Sam took a deep breath. The canyon was immense, intimidating, but somehow it also sparked curiosity. They realized that while strength and size mattered, observation, strategy, and courage mattered more. Humans had survived disasters, adapted to countless environments, and solved problems others could not. This canyon would be no different. They began the descent, carefully choosing each step on narrow ledges and uneven ground. Corv moved behind them, blocking loose stones and warning of sudden movements. Lyra guided them, pointing out subtle cues, rocks that seemed safe but were not, vines that could hold weight, shadows that hinted at hidden creatures. Suddenly, the canyon walls shifted slightly, revealing a narrow passage where small, glowing creatures slithered in and out. The creatures' eyes reflected light like tiny crystals, and their movements were unpredictable. Sam froze, realizing that one wrong step could trigger an attack or collapse part of the ledge. Corv growled low, and Sam knew instinctively that caution alone would not be enough. They needed to observe patterns, predict movement, and act carefully. Using a small stick, Sam tapped the edge of the ledge and watched the creatures react. Slowly, carefully, they began to move forward, timing each step with the creature's patterns. Lyra watched in amazement. You see what others cannot, you think ahead, that is human strength. Hours passed as they navigated the canyon. Each obstacle demanded careful thought, crossing fragile rock bridges, avoiding hidden predators, using vines to swing across gaps, and interpreting subtle signals from the forest around them. Sam's mind worked continuously, analyzing, predicting, and solving problems as they arose. Corv responded to every subtle gesture, moving with surprising intelligence and coordination. At one point, they reached a deep pool with glowing water. Strange, long creatures swam beneath the surface, their eyes following every movement. The canyon walls above were too steep to climb, and the water was too deep to jump. Sam thought quickly, noticing large, flat stones nearby. Using balance and observation, they carefully placed the stones as stepping points, creating a path across. Corv followed, carefully placing his massive weight to avoid dislodging the stones. Lyra cheered softly, impressed by Sam's ingenuity. "You think differently," she said. "Your mind sees solutions we would never imagine. That is why you survive." Once across, they rested briefly on a narrow ledge, watching the canyon below. The sun was high, casting strange light across the cliffs. Sam felt a growing sense of confidence. They had faced challenges far beyond their size, and each success strengthened their understanding. Human intelligence, creativity, and courage could overcome obstacles that seemed impossible. As they continued, the canyon narrowed, and a low hum filled the air. The walls seemed alive, pulsing faintly with light and vibration. Lyra paused. "This is the heart of the trial," she said. "Many are tested here, many fail because they rely only on strength or instinct. You must think, plan, and act together." Sam stepped forward carefully. The floor beneath them shifted slightly with every step, subtle patterns of movement that could trigger traps or alert hidden creatures. Corv growled low, and Sam realized that brute force would be useless here. Observation, strategy, and timing would be key. They moved slowly, testing the floor with a stick, noticing faint grooves and vibrations. Lyra pointed out hidden symbols on the walls, ancient marks that hinted at safe paths and danger zones. Sam traced the patterns with their eyes, piecing together a sequence of steps that would allow them to cross safely. Halfway through, a sudden vibration shook the ledge. Loose stones tumbled down into the depths, and a hidden creature emerged from a shadowed crevice. It hissed and lunged, but Corv reacted instantly, blocking the attack without harming the creature, while Sam quickly adjusted their path based on the patterns they had observed. The creature retreated, and Sam exhaled, realizing that the human ability to think quickly under pressure had made the difference. Corv looked at them with what seemed like approval, and Lyra's antennas twitched with delight. "You see," Lyra said, "humans are clever. You observe, predict, act. That is your strength." The canyon's path led to a massive chamber, illuminated by glowing crystals embedded in the walls. The floor was smooth, but covered with a faint, shifting pattern that reacted to movement. Lyra explained that the chamber tested teamwork, observation, and human ingenuity. Many creatures had failed here, unable to synchronize with each other or anticipate changes. Sam studied the chamber carefully. They noticed subtle hints in the glowing crystals, patterns of light that indicated safe zones and danger zones. Using hand gestures and small signals, they coordinated with Lyra and Corv, moving together to navigate the shifting floor. Each step required careful thought, attention, and timing. Hours passed as they moved through the chamber. Sam made small mistakes, but each error taught them something new. They adjusted their approach, predicting the floor's shifts and timing their movements with Corv's support. Lyra followed their lead, trusting Sam's judgment. Finally, they reached the center of the chamber, where a pedestal held a small, radiant crystal. It pulsed gently, as if acknowledging their success. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes wide with awe. "You have done it," she said softly. "Humans, your mind, your courage, your teamwork, it is unlike anything we have seen. Many have tried, many have failed. But you have passed." Sam felt a wave of pride and relief. They had faced the canyon's trials, navigated hidden dangers, and relied on their mind rather than strength alone. Humanity's true power, the ability to observe, adapt, and solve problems, had carried them through. Corv nudged Sam gently, as if congratulating them, and Lyra clasped their hand. "Tomorrow," she said, "we will see even greater challenges. But now, you are clever, courageous, and capable. You are human, and that is enough." As they left the chamber, the canyon walls glowed faintly in the evening light. The wind carried strange scents, and distant roars echoed softly. Sam felt a deep connection to the valley, the forest, and their companions. They realized that survival here was more than avoiding danger. It was understanding, learning, and proving that humans, though small in size, carried a strength of mind and spirit that could face any challenge. That night, as they lay on soft moss under the alien stars, Sam reflected on their journey. They had crossed the valley, faced hidden predators, navigated the canyon's shifting paths, and solved puzzles that no alien alone could conquer. Each test had shown them that intelligence, observation, courage, and teamwork were greater than brute strength. Lyra watched them sleep, her antennas gently twitching. Corv rested nearby, his massive form relaxed but alert. The tiny alien girl understood something important. Humans were not ordinary. Their mind, their heart, and their courage made them extraordinary in ways that even the alien world could not ignore. Somewhere in the shadows, eyes watched, measuring and testing. The forest had more secrets to reveal, more dangers to present, but Sam was ready. They were human, and humans could survive, adapt, and triumph in ways others could not imagine. The journey was far from over, but for the first time, Sam felt truly confident. They had faced impossible challenges and overcome them with cleverness and courage. The next day would bring new tests, but they were ready. The human mind, they realized, was a force as powerful as any weapon, any strength, or any beast in the universe. And somewhere deep in the canyon, the unseen watchers waited, curious and cautious, recognizing that this small human child, alone in a strange world, carried a light of intelligence and heart that could change everything. The morning light painted the canyon in soft gold, and Sam awoke with a sense of purpose. The trials of the past days had tested them in ways they had never imagined. Hidden predators, shifting paths, and mysterious chambers that challenged their mind and courage. Each challenge had strengthened their understanding of this alien world, and each success had shown Lyra, the tiny alien girl, and Corv, the massive beast, that humans were clever, adaptable, and capable of facing the impossible. Today, Lyra said, her large eyes gleaming with excitement, we face the final trial. It is not only strength and mind, it is spirit. You must show courage, wisdom, and trust. The final challenge awaits. Sam's heart raced. They had succeeded in the valley and the canyon, but now the stakes felt higher. Lyra led the way, moving lightly over the narrow ledges, while Corv's massive form followed silently, protective and watchful. The forest around them seemed more alive than ever, the whispers of hidden creatures carrying through the air like a soft chorus. After hours of walking, they reached a cliff that overlooked a massive alien city built into the walls of a colossal crater. The structures glowed faintly with bioluminescent light, and enormous bridges of living vines connected towers and platforms. Strange flying creatures moved gracefully among the towers, while beings of all sizes went about their activities below. The city seemed both ancient and alive, as though it had grown from the land itself. This city, Lyra said, is the test's heart. Few have entered and returned. It watches, judges, and challenges. Humans rarely come here, but you have shown cleverness, courage, and thought. You may succeed. Sam stared, awe mixing with apprehension. The city was enormous, full of unknown dangers, but also filled with opportunity. They realized that this was more than a physical trial. It was a test of humanity itself. Could humans, small and fragile in appearance, navigate a world that demanded intelligence, courage, and heart? Lyra led Sam down a winding path to the city's entrance. Corv followed closely, his massive claws clicking softly on the stones. As they approached, the gates shifted open silently, as if acknowledging their arrival. The city was alive, humming with energy and movement. Symbols glowed faintly along the walls, and strange devices seemed to react to their presence. This is the first part of the final challenge, Lyra explained. You must understand the city. It is not only bricks and stone, it senses, it tests, observe, think, act. Sam stepped carefully, their eyes scanning every detail. They noticed patterns in the glowing symbols, subtle movements in the floating platforms, and slight vibrations in the ground. Every observation added to a growing understanding. The city was not merely a place. It was a test itself, alive and aware, responding to thought, action, and intention. Corv's massive body blocked sudden dangers, while Lyra pointed out subtle cues that Sam would have missed alone. Together, they moved through the city, navigating shifting platforms, hidden traps, and creatures that monitored their every move. Sam realized that each step required planning, observation, and trust, not just in themselves, but in their companions. At one point, they reached a large chamber with a series of floating platforms suspended over a deep chasm. Each platform shifted slightly as they stepped on it, and strange sensors along the edges emitted pulses of light that reacted to movement. Sam hesitated for a moment, studying the patterns. Their mind worked quickly, noting the sequence of movements and predicting how each platform would respond. "Trust Corv," Lyra whispered. "He will support you. Watch, move carefully." Sam nodded, feeling a surge of confidence. Step by step, they moved across the floating platforms, testing each one before committing weight. Corv followed, steady and protective, his massive claws adjusting the platforms when needed. Lyra darted ahead, signaling when paths were safe and when to wait. Halfway across, a sudden vibration rocked the chamber. A hidden creature emerged from the shadows, its eyes glowing, its limbs moving with lightning speed. Sam froze, heart pounding, but their mind worked faster. They noted the creature's pattern and timing, then signaled Corv. The giant beast responded instantly, blocking the creature's attack and nudging Sam toward a safe platform. Sam moved with precision, using the creature's momentum to their advantage. The creature retreated, confused by the teamwork and clever thinking it could not predict. "You see," Lyra said, her voice soft but full of awe, "human thought is different. You anticipate, you adapt, you survive." After crossing the floating platforms, they entered a massive hall filled with glowing orbs floating in intricate patterns. The orbs pulsed, reacting to movement and sound. Lyra explained that this was a test of focus, patience, and intelligence. One wrong move could disrupt the pattern, triggering alarms or traps. Sam observed carefully, noting the rhythm of the orbs and the spaces where movement was safe. Step by step, they guided Lyra and Corv through the hall, moving with precision, timing each step according to the patterns they had learned. Corv adjusted his massive weight to stabilize platforms and block hazards, while Lyra followed closely, trusting Sam's calculations. Hours passed, but Sam's focus never wavered. They realized that the test was not about strength, or even courage. It was about understanding, observation, and teamwork. Humans, though small and seemingly fragile, had a mind capable of solving problems, adapting to challenges, and guiding others to success. Finally, they reached the heart of the city, a central chamber where a massive crystal pulsed with soft light. The room was silent, yet alive with energy. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes wide. "This is the reward," she said. "It recognizes those who have shown courage, thought, and heart. Many have tried, many have failed, but you have passed." Sam approached cautiously, feeling the weight of the moment. Their hand touched the crystal, and a warmth spread through their body. A soft hum filled the chamber, and the walls shimmered with light. The city seemed to acknowledge their success, responding to their presence with approval. "You have done it," Lyra said softly, her voice trembling with excitement. "Humans, your mind, your courage, your heart. It is remarkable. You have proven that humans, though small, are capable of greatness beyond measure." Corv nudged Sam gently, his massive head pressing lightly against their shoulder. Sam smiled, realizing that the bond they had formed with the giant beast and the tiny alien girl was more than friendship. It was trust, teamwork, and mutual respect. Together, they had faced impossible challenges and emerged victorious. As they left the central chamber, the city seemed to glow brighter, as if celebrating their success. Sam felt a deep sense of pride, but also humility. They had learned that survival was more than physical strength. It was intelligence, observation, courage, and heart. Humanity's true power lay in the mind and spirit, in the ability to adapt, innovate, and inspire trust and respect in allies, no matter their size or origin. They returned to the canyon's edge, looking down at the vast landscape they had traversed. The valley stretched below, filled with glowing plants, strange creatures, and the tiny village they had called home for a few days. Sam realized that they had changed, not just survived, but grown, learned, and proven something essential about humanity. Lyra stepped beside them, her small hand resting lightly on their arm. "Tomorrow," she said, "we may face more challenges, more unknowns, but now you know you are clever, courageous, and capable. You are human, and that is enough." Sam nodded, feeling a deep connection to the alien world, to Lyra, and to Corv. They had faced dangers that would have overwhelmed others, yet through thought, observation, and courage, they had triumphed. Humanity, small and seemingly fragile, had shown its greatest strength, the ability to survive, adapt, and excel even in the most alien and dangerous environments. As night fell over the canyon, Sam lay on the moss with Corv curled nearby and Lyra sitting close. The stars above glimmered with unfamiliar constellations, and the forest seemed to hum softly in approval. Sam felt a sense of peace, knowing that they had not only survived, but had proven that humans could thrive, inspire, and overcome even the greatest challenges. Somewhere beyond the trees, hidden eyes watched silently. The city, the forest, and the creatures of the canyon had witnessed the human child's courage, cleverness, and spirit. They had learned that humans, though small in size, carried a light that could influence, adapt, and change the world around them. And as Sam drifted into sleep, with Corv's protective presence nearby and Lyra's quiet reassurance, they knew that their journey was far from over. The universe was vast, full of challenges and unknowns, but humans had a power that transcended strength or size, the power of thought, courage, and heart. For the first time, Sam felt truly at home on this alien world. They had allies, friends, and a purpose. They had survived, adapted, and proven the essence of humanity: cleverness, courage, and the ability to rise above any challenge. The trials of the valley, the canyon, and the city had shown them that humans could thrive anywhere, not through force alone, but through intelligence, teamwork, and unwavering spirit. Corv stirred slightly, nudging Sam gently, and Lyra's antennas twitched in delight. Together, they looked at the alien stars, imagining a future filled with discovery, adventure, and the endless possibility of proving that humanity, small but clever, could face any challenge and leave a mark on the universe. And somewhere deep in the forest and canyon, the Watchers, creatures of shadow, light, and energy, observed silently, acknowledging that this human child, tiny in size but vast in mind and courage, had shown the universe something profound. Humanity, though fragile, could shine. Brighter than any predator, any challenge, or any test.